Hey guys, this is Adam Amble from the A to G Show 2.0, about to start in 1 minute. We got our picks for Super Bowl underdog, thoughts on fans returning to live events, our opinions on the worst NFL team logos, current rivalries in sports, and of course some B&O. So hang with us, join in the fun tonight, and welcome to the A to G Show 2.0. All right. Hello, my friends. Welcome back to episode 10 of the A to G Show 2.0. I am Adam Amble, coming to you live from Castle Rock, Colorado on a gorgeous, gorgeous Tuesday evening. Sitting in for G tonight is the ever-growing familiar face, Scott Ulibarri. Scotty, how you doing, buddy?
Good. Never better. You know, it's a great day here in Michigan. Took a little boat ride this evening, and life is
Oh,
good.
right on, man. Right on. Well, glad to have you back, man. Thanks, everyone, for joining us tonight live on Facebook. Make sure to head on over to the YouTube channel and subscribe. We really appreciate it. There is a link in the description, so click on that, leave us a like. And of course, if you missed the show tonight or just want to watch it again, then it'll be posted on the M Factor page later tomorrow. Again, make sure to hit that little subscribe button so you never miss new content from the M Factor. And I am happy to announce we finally got some merch, so if you want to head on over, support the M Factor, head on over to this address, grab yourself some cool stuff. It'll grow, it'll continue to grow, so be sure to keep checking for updated items. And if you have any requests, just let me know. I'm actually rocking one of those shirts tonight, so I got the little M Factor shirt on right here. And it's actually really good quality, nice and soft. My skin's pretty sensitive, so I was really worried about it being, kind of some of that scratchy cotton or whatever, but it's nice and soft, fits really well, so that was a relief for sure. But let's rock and roll with tonight's show. Don't forget that this is meant to be an interactive show, so be sure to leave your comments, like, shares, and we'll read them live and discuss it. That's what really makes the show fun. So with that, let's rock and roll with the jumbling up of the league in the offseason in the NFL. We know who the odds are for favorite to win the Super Bowl this year, but who is your dark horse, Scotty, to win the Super Bowl this season?
So I was looking at this a bunch. This season is everything's going to be up in the air. I mean, you're not going to have the same home field advantages. Everything's going to be just throwing darts at a dartboard. But the team that I look at that I think makes the list as far as like a long odd to win is probably the Indianapolis Colts at 40-1. I think that qualifies them as an underdog. But the reason why I like them, they've got the quarterback that I've loved to hate for the last little bit with Phyllis Rivers.
Oh yeah, your girl Phyllis Rivers.
My nemesis, but I respect the heck out of him, and I really think with the way things are shaking out to go this year, you have to have an experienced quarterback. I don't think young quarterbacks are going to get it done this year. Phillip is an unbelievable competitor. He knows what he's doing. I think that he'll be able to hit the ground running. And in addition to getting Eric Ebron and some other key pieces, I really like the Colts this year.
Right on. The Colts is a good one. I'm a big fan of the Colts. And the thing is, with their defense that they've had over the last couple of years and adding, I wish K-Fed was watching. I forget the guy's name, who was like Defensive Player of the Year last year as like a rookie. Or was that 2 years ago, Scotty?
Yeah.
Might have been
2 years ago, I think.
Yeah, it might have been 2 years ago. But with the addition of Rivers and then actually having, he's a little old, but I still think he's an upgrade from last year. Was it Brissett last year that played most of the season? But I think Brissett. I think Phillip will be a little bit of an upgrade from him, simply because he just doesn't, he doesn't turn the ball over a lot. Last year he did, but again, he didn't have the weapons that he's going to have this year with the Colts. He didn't have the defense that he's going to have this year with the Colts, right?
Yeah.
So that's going to be the big one. That's a great pick. I'm still going to stick with my original pick once we started the draft and everything. And with the acquisition of Tom Brady, I know you don't want to hear it, and it might be a lot of people's dark horse pick is the Buccaneers. I will go with the Buccaneers simply because of all those offensive weapons for Tomas Brady, now the best Thomas in the league, right, Scotty? And really,
nowadays, yeah.
what I really like about them is the weapons that they're giving them now. They get Gronk back. They get some of these Evans, at wide receiver, and their defense was actually top notch last year towards the end of the season. I know they got a big knock at the start of the season, but hey, when you have someone like Jameis Winston really putting them in those situations, the defense in those situations, turning the ball over. What do you have, like 20 some interceptions last year? Do you remember, Scotty? It was an insane stat.
A ton of touchdowns, tons of interceptions, and you just can't do that to your team.
That's right. And you put your defense in, sometimes you would throw an interception deep in the opponent's territory, or deep in their own territory, and that's not going to work in the NFL. So you bring in a guy like Brady, and of course everyone's going to say, yeah, he's washed up, he's too old. I get it, and that might be true, but the fact of the matter is, you give Tom Brady these weapons, there is no way that he is going to turn over the ball as much as Jameis did last year, right? If he even cuts it down in half, I mean, most of those games, they were on the verge of making the playoffs. I think they were, what were they, like 8-8 or something like that, or 7-9 with a lot of those, going into the last couple parts of the season. They were right there. So I definitely think I like the Colts. Steve Fox says, hey, AC, how you doing, Steve? How about the Bills? They have at least a pretty decent shot of winning the division. Now, this is fantastic.
Yeah, I had them on my list, too.
Did you? Yeah, you had the Bills. That is fantastic. Hi, Mom. My mom, of course, says Tampa Bay. No one's really shocked, Mother. But rightfully so. I mean, I do think, like I said, I think they got the weapons, and you bring in a guy like Tom Brady. We just got to see how it goes in the offseason here with them not being able to work out and him learning the new offense. What do you think, Scotty? Do you bring the offense, kind of like what Peyton Manning did? I go back to what Peyton Manning did with the Broncos, right? The Broncos kind of adapted to Peyton Manning's style of offense, and then when he kind of deteriorated there towards the end, then guess what? They played to Peyton Manning's strengths, right? Towards the end of the season, and obviously their Super Bowl season. So, and they had an awesome defense, obviously, but that's similar to the Buccaneers. Only the Buccaneers have huge weapons on offense, and then a decent, kind of upper tier. I'm not going to say top notch defense, but an upper tier defense. It's not bad. What do you think?
No, they're on my list too. I mean, every time you have Brady, you have the chance of winning. I mean, just ask Atlanta. And you have someone like that, and you can already see, based on the reports coming out of Tampa, how he's already the field general. He's already getting guys in. He's already being that guy that's like, here's what my culture is. Here's how we win Super Bowls. It's infectious. He's going to be the field general, and he's going to be the one that's in charge of it. And combined with that defense, I think that they have a really good shot too. Which will be funny because it has been since Chucky was the coach there that they've been much of anything, and so it'll be interesting to see how they do there.
Yeah, exactly. And another thing, now we'll see what Tom. I think Tom really enjoyed. He played well in cold weather, but let's see what you give him with that Florida weather now. We'll see if that plays towards his advantage, or does that play towards? Is that a disadvantage because now other quarterbacks aren't traveling to New England, right, and playing in that cold weather to where New England's defense could really step up, and then Tom just basically had to play mediocre and not turn the ball over. Again, we're kind of coming back to it of not turning the ball over, right? That's the big thing. That's the difference between Jameis Winston and Tom Brady. I don't think Tom Brady has to be incredible. I just think he has to not make the mistakes. AKA Brian Griese in '97 at Michigan, right? With the national championship, your boy Brian Griese. Steve Fox says Bills added Stephon Diggs. I forgot the Bills added Stephon Diggs too. Hopefully, was it Josh Allen can get him the ball? I think Josh Allen's very very talented. But now you take Tom Brady out of New England. Who do you think fares better, Tampa Bay or Bill Belichick? I know this has been a huge talking point amongst the sports world and during this COVID quarantine. But what do you think? Who do you think has the better season this year, Scotty?
Oh, I think you have to go with everything as crazy it is. The one thing that you have to count on is a quarterback. It's like that when you don't have all this chaos going on, and to take a quarterback that can be your rock and put them in place. That's why I think. So I think all the teams that have established quarterbacks are going to be good this year. Green Bay with the Steelers with Roethlisberger coming back, with Tampa Bay with Brady. I think everyone that has an established quarterback is going to be the teams that are going to really shine this year, especially if you don't have big crowds and you don't have to deal with that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. You don't have that. The home field advantage really isn't going to help you out much, especially in New England, with only possibly, 20% to 30% of the fans being allowed. We don't know yet. We don't know yet. Zach French says Tampa, New England doesn't have a QB. I'm not sure if they're too sold on Stidham, but apparently Belichick. Here's the thing: you can never count out Belichick, right? He always seems to have. He has a plan. It's not like they're going freelance on this. There's a reason they didn't draft a quarterback in the first round. There's a reason they didn't draft a quarterback at all. Really, you got Stidham and Hoyer, right? Brian Hoyer, who is old as dirt from Sparty Land, so he sucks. and you got Stidham, who hasn't proved himself at all. So they must see something in Stidham. And or how about this, Scotty? Do they tank this year and get Trevor Lawrence? We know how hard it is to tank, and I'm not saying I don't think it's in Bill Belichick to really tank, right? That's I don't think that's in the cards for him.
Cutthroat. He's cutthroat.
Exactly. I don't think he's going to tank. It's hard to tank in the NFL too. Look what the Dolphins tried to do this year, and they couldn't do it, right? They couldn't tank. They ended up having a better season than the Lions, for crying out loud. So, well, we got some more comments here, Scotty Steve Fox. How will Brady do without Belichick, and how will Belichick do without Brady? Well, I'm glad we kind of just answered that, Steve. In my opinion, again, I'm pro quarterback, right? I'm not pro coach, even though in the NFL, the top three things are basically your ownership, your coach, and your quarterback, right? If you have those three things, you're going to be pretty successful in the NFL. The Lions have had a good quarterback, I feel, but guess what? The two other things just suck. They've sucked forever, right? They've sucked since we've been alive. Denver has 2 out of 3 with good coaching, decent, excellent ownership. We're not talking about Elway, but we're talking excellent ownership. And then, I think you guys finally found a solid quarterback, at least for you guys this year.
When you look at a good quarterback and you basically have a coach on the field, Brady can do that. Manning used to do that, and Aaron Rodgers does that.
That's a good call.
And so Philip Rivers too.
Yeah, that's a good call.
I think the quarterback this year is going to be more important, having an established veteran quarterback this year, and Drew Brees, even though they're not going to be an underdog. I think that they're way up there.
Yeah, in terms of just talking, trying to answer Steve's question, Brady without Belichick, I think there'll be a little hangover for both of them. I think at the beginning, I gotta say that Brady wins this divorce, if you want to call it that. I think Brady wins the divorce first. But again, Belichick can coach for another 5, to 10 years. Brady's gonna be done in probably, if not 1, 2 to 3 years, right? So really,
I don't know, man. He hasn't lost a step because he didn't have a step to begin with.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Everyone, did he lose his athletic ability? Well, no, he really didn't have any to begin with, right? Let's see. Zach French says, unless they get Cam, that's a good. I don't think they're getting Cam. I know Cam's just testing the market. I think the cost for Cam only goes up as the offseason goes down, because people are going to go to camp. They're going to go to camp and realize, our quarterback situation isn't as good as we thought it was. So then Cam will get paid. Dave Grezig. Dave, what's up, man? Hope all is well over in TAC world. But great questions. Great topic. I really think. JC, good to see you, buddy. Sorry I didn't see your comment there. Which of these teams does Tampa Bay pass for wild card? Cowboys, Seahawks, Rams, Vikings, Bears, Bucks. Bucks won't make the playoffs. Wow. I think that's just a Tom Brady hater, really. I mean, if they had a quarterback last year, they would have beat out 3 of those teams. Because
I don't know, Dallas new coach. I think Dak's pissed unless they sign Dak, but But even if he does sign with something, he's still gonna have a chip. But I don't know if that's a good chip or a
Yeah,
bad
I
chip.
definitely say Tampa over the Bears for sure. Seahawks, that's a tough one. Rams, I think blew their load when they just kind of stocked up for the Super Bowl run. They overpaid all their players, and it was the right thing to do. They made the Super Bowl. They had a chance to win it, but I really think that yeah, if you look back at what the Rams kind of did, and everyone was trying to follow suit the year after, and it really didn't work. Slow and steady. Kind of just like the Chiefs did. The Patriots always do, right? Always underpay players, so it's tough. I mean, honestly, JC, I would say the Seahawks, Vikings are probably the only two teams there that I would
I,
compare Tampa Bay with. I like the
oh,
Vikings,
see,
Steve.
I don't think the Vikings. I don't think the Vikings are going to be very good
Ooh,
this
that's
year.
those are fighting words for
Not
Steve.
the,
Hopefully, Steve Fox isn't watching still, but yeah, I think the Vikings. I think the Vikings will take. I just don't think the Packers. I think the Packers are Aaron is. I don't think Lafleur is the guy for Green Bay. I think that a lot of offseason noise from them. So I'm going to take the Vikings to win the division. So Zach French, Rams gave everyone away. Bears suck. Vikings and Packers, one of them will win the division. Yeah, that's exactly right.
yeah,
We got to move on.
yeah, I can see that.
But we gotta move on, folks. Again, thanks for joining us on the A to G show live on Facebook here. Really appreciate everyone's comments so far. This is great. This is a good time. Let's do some. Let's roll on to the next topic here, and that is the NASCAR has already announced that they are going to. It's already in the works to have fans return to races in the start of July, I believe. That's good news for us, Scotty. We might be able to head on over to the MIS race in August. Yeah, exactly. Fingers crossed. So, I want to get everyone's thoughts on. Obviously, all sports are different, right? You got the NBA where, let's face it, the NBA you're inside an arena, right? And they did say they're going to have games, of course, I believe starting end of July, right? Starting that 22 team kind of like playoff deal. And so the NBA is different because that's inside, that's in an arena. NFL, I think, is golden. I think you're going to see, and especially as we continue to get more and more good news about the virus, right? It's losing potency. It doesn't do well outside. It doesn't do well in the heat. Of course, there will probably be a little spike, but by then, hopefully, there's some sort of vaccine developed or care developed. Be at it whatever you guys believe, based on how you believe the media, anyway. But let's face it, they're outdoors. Baseball is going to fire back up. Hopefully, but they can't seem to come to an agreement on how long the season or how much to pay the players, right? So that's kind of disappointing. But NASCAR, outdoors, NFL outdoors, college football, already conferences are saying, yeah, we're coming back, we're going to play. Yeah, Zach French says thousands of people at these protests / riots open up the stadiums. Yep, that gets into a little. I don't want to get, again, we're out of the political business on this show, so you can have those discussions amongst your friends. Yep, Steve Fox says baseball shooting itself in the foot. Totally agree. They like we discussed the past couple weeks, Scotty, it's amazing that these sports are not hurrying to get back in action. NASCAR, MMA, NASCAR,
Golf.
MMA, even the golf tournament, last weekend. Unbelievable ratings, like the highest ratings that they've had in years on TV, and everyone talks about it, right? So baseball, of course, yes, I agree, Steve. Baseball just totally shooting themselves in the foot. The players' union and the owners, of course, going back and forth on shortening the season, prorating the pay for the players. What's your opinion, Scotty, on what the different leagues should really do? Are you in favor of just let's bring them all back, let's bring in all the fans, let's rock and roll? Especially like NFL when we kind of have time, when we have time to go here. What's your thoughts on that, though, buddy?
But we have a bunch of test cases that we can kind of look at. So I'm really curious as to what's going to happen. And I know this is going to be kind of weird, but the German Bundesliga for soccer started a week or two ago. So we can kind of use
Oh,
the
that's right.
Bundesliga in
I totally
Germany as a
forgot
test
that
case.
soccer started too.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting to see there. Obviously, Germany wasn't hit as bad, but I think every team needs to take it case by case because you look at Jacksonville. Jacksonville doesn't get anybody. Tampa Bay Devil Rays, they don't get anybody. They can open up for everything because no one goes to those games.
Doesn't matter, right?
Whereas look at Green Bay, who, if I had to guess, Green Bay fans, you have the cold later in the year. They're probably, if I had to guess, on the less healthy side of the fans. They're going to be different than fans in LA. And I think every team has to kind of judge their own and figure out what they want to do. And you know what I was thinking as a Broncos season ticket holder is a lot of the Broncos season ticket holders, if you're say if you have a high risk or you're basically high risk. So whatever you think is high risk, I think for this year the team should be like, okay, if you have a season ticket or whatever, we will give you a pass on this year. We will take your tickets back. We will sell them for anyone that wants to go. Next year, if you want them back, you're not losing your tickets. You can still buy them back. This is just like a 1-year deal. And then they should open it up or at least make a determination on a team by team basis as to what they want to do. And you look at Michigan. Michigan, I've been to Michigan games, and there are a lot of old timers there that have tickets to Michigan. If I was an old timer, Michigan high risk, I'd be like, you know what? If they offer me to not go this year, but I still get my tickets next year, whenever, and open it up, and they want to sell them 1 year to someone else, go nuts. We'll call it a year.
Okay, yeah. What about this, Scotty? So it's a solid idea. What another thing that I would recommend is you mentioned it was a great point. You mentioned teams like Jacksonville, some of those the Tampa Bay, right? A lot of these stadiums that don't sell out. Because we got to look at the weather too, right? When that cold weather comes back, it might be a problem. What about playing at these stadiums and having them on different days? Who says you have to have every NFL game? I mean, they've been trying to spread this out for years, right? Having NFL games, you got them Thursday, Saturday once college football is over. You got Saturday during the playoffs, or during the playoffs you have Saturday games. You have Sunday games. You have Monday night games. There's no reason why you can't spread it out to have, 4 games Thursday, 4 games Friday, 4 games Saturday, 4 games Sunday, and really spread out these stadiums, right, all along the in the southern states there. I think that would be really I think that would be something else to think about. And if you want to play the card of, people's safety and it being, the climate apparently affects this thing, I think that would really, that's something to think about too, is having where you play the games actually. So as a season ticket holder, guess what, Scotty? Denver's not going to be, I think you could probably still play in Denver. I do know it gets cold here, but then it spikes again to warmer temperatures, could the next day, who knows? But in places like Chicago, Buffalo, New England, Green Bay, Seattle, all these northern cities that it gets cold and you could see that second wave come in with the virus maybe at that point. Or if people are nervous about that, how about this? Shift them all down to LA's, Arizona's, outdoor stadiums. Make sure they're outdoor stadiums, right, to not enclose everyone. Yeah. Even Denver, you got Houston, Dallas would probably count. Just leave the roof open, right? You got Tampa Bay, you got Jacksonville, you got I know New Orleans and Atlanta are kind of they're enclosed. You got Tennessee, Tennessee would be a great spot. And we're talking NFL here. I think that's an option, right?
Yeah. Well, I just had a funny thought. So you take a place like Green Bay, even in the cold. They're all wearing face coverings because it's colder now.
Yeah, so exactly. They'll be wearing their masks anyway, right, Scotty? So yeah, we got a couple comments. Steve Fox says baseball shooting itself in the foot. Yeah, I agree. This is terrible for them. They need to get something worked out. If baseball, Steve says, if baseball doesn't start up this year, people may never come back to it. Remember what happened when they had that strike here. And yeah. Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa basically they basically brought baseball back with the home run race, right? The home run race that season. Zach French says billionaire.
Steroids again in baseball.
What's that?
So I guess we're going to see steroids again in baseball.
Yeah, I think we should anyway. That could be a whole nother topic, right? Zach French says billionaire owners fight with millionaire players over money. Kind of crazy, but MLB has the strongest players union. Yeah, that's true. That's true, and that's probably why they can't get a deal. Listen, I normally side with the players on this anyway, so they just need a little more give and take on each side, of course, if they want to play, if they want to get paid, right? let's go.
Especially
Let's
because
get it
most of
done.
their revenue comes from TV anyway. So the fans are a lesser deal.
Uh,
I love the fans in the stadium. I mean,
right. Exactly. Steve Fox, 1994, lost a lot of fans. Yep, exactly. JC,
well,
I
I
th-
I haven't come back to hockey yet.
oh yeah,
I
hold on,
mean,
hold
hockey
on.
was one of my jams until they went on the strike when they had that 2 year or the year and a half hiatus or whatever. And I've still it's been tough for me to watch because I just kind of lost
Yep,
interest.
exactly. JC says, I think it'll come down more to the players' willingness to come together and decide on their health, and they're willing to play more than it will if fans are allowed. Yeah. Um, Again, a lot of these baseball players, the baseballs, they're all outside. Most of the stadiums are outside. Actually, probably like 95% of them. I can't think of many indoor baseball stadiums anymore. Can you, Scotty? JC, let me know if you can think of any. But
Not pure indoor where
yeah, I
where
mean,
they
I
can't
know
open
the.
the top
Let's
at
see.
least.
I know Arizona, the Diamondbacks have like a covered roof that they can put on. Probably because it gets too hot out there, right? They need to play in the shade.
Yeah.
Toronto, the Sky Dome used to have the Sky. They don't, but they don't play in the Sky Dome anymore. I don't think so. I
No.
know the Sky Dome was retractable, but other than that, I don't know a lot of indoor, complete indoor ballparks. I know Milwaukee.
Right where they couldn't open it.
What's that?
Where they couldn't open it.
Exactly. They just got to get. They got to let it breathe, right? Got to let it breathe. Zach French, Damian Lillard said he ain't coming back if his team has no chance at the playoffs. Commenting on how the NBA seeding will work. Yeah. Well, they don't deserve to be in the playoffs anyway. They were like 7 games below. They're like 7 games below 500. So a couple teams that are going to be weeded out. Memphis, Portland. They don't have a chance anyway. So I don't even want to see them. I wouldn't even want to watch them really. So that's. Yeah, I don't feel bad for some of those teams being like, oh, they could have had a shot at the playoffs. Sorry, it's your fault. You got one of the top 10 players in the league supposedly, and you go 500 no, or less than below 500 no. Sorry, don't care for crying Damian Lillard. So good discussion. Hockey's gonna be tough, but still,
I like their playoff though.
yeah.
Their playoff concept is super interesting.
Yeah, I know. I get it. What I would like to, I'm just hoping that we get more and more good news over the upcoming weeks to where college football says, hey, we're gonna bump it up to 50% fan rate. Who knows? We just don't know. Everything seems to be moving so fast now, a lot quicker than what people expected, right? A lot quicker than the media portrayed it to move.
Right.
There's been a lot of talk and a lot of discussions about, and it's funny, even your girl Whitmer had to retract her stay-at-home order was kind of lifted a little prematurely, wasn't it? I don't get it, but anyway.
Yeah. I still can't take cans back.
Oh well,
Oh no, I can take it back $25 worth of cans at a time. I got 8 trash bags worth of cans. It's gonna take me like 2 years to work
hey,
through this.
nice man, nice. Steve Fox says it seems there are so many logistical problems with the major sports returning that the powers that be can't pull the trigger. What you're gonna need, Steve, is exactly what happened with the NBA, right? The NBA kind of led the shutdown march, and then everyone kind of followed suit. So what you're gonna need is one of the four major sports to say, all right, here's our plan. We're going to do it on this date. And then I think everyone will follow because you kind of saw that. You kind of saw that in regards to, in terms of the virus anyway, right? Scotty, Georgia and Florida, everyone thought it was just terrible that they opened up so soon. And then you actually saw a major decline still from when they opened
Yeah.
up. So now you're starting to see, even Colorado opened up, but you didn't hear anything about that, right? But Colorado
It's as
opened up
west
at
as Mississippi.
yeah, but Colorado opened up at about the same time, and you've seen a lot of these declining in all these states where it's warm. So I really think you're going to see one league open up, and then you're going to see how it goes because you can't. No one wants to be the first one to open up, right, and do it wrong. Because you can only do it wrong, right? You can't do it right. You can only do it wrong. No one's going to commend you for doing it right, but they will destroy you if you do it wrong. So,
Well, and I think part of it has to do with the fact that everyone's afraid of getting sued because what if you open this up and there's a breakout and everyone starts blaming it on whatever you opened up and then you're liable to get sued, and then no one wants to. The lawyers get involved, and you don't want to be the one that gets sued out of business over
Well, I think
this.
that's exactly what's going to happen, Scotty. Is again, if it's wrong, you're done. But if you're right, no one really cares, right? You're
Right.
not going to be touted as being, oh, way to go, you were the first, one to open, great job, way to go.
So I had a thought. If you look at the back of your ticket stub on NASCAR, football, I think on every sport, it says we are not responsible for anything that happens. You get hit at a baseball game. You can get hit with a hockey puck at a hockey game. People have been killed doing this. You put this disclaimer on there and say if you come to this game, it's like getting hit with a baseball or a hockey puck or a baseball bat or whatever, and then it's a hold harmless clause.
Well, yeah, and another thing, how many people from nursing homes are going to a lot of these pro sporting events, right? So, Darcy V. Hey, Darcy, good to see you. Just Google how to get a haircut. Stretch and Gretchen. Oh, Steve Fox says, I would think college football must play for the survival of a lot of the universities. That is correct. That's honestly, Steve. We've kind of had that discussion offline. I've had that discussion offline with a lot of people on. There are certain schools that these universities rely on college football. One, not only just all the other sports at that university, but the university itself relies a lot on their college football team and the revenue that it generates bringing it in. So all these these public universities, they could be hurting, especially a lot of the smaller ones where football is their cash cow, right? Football is the cash cow. If you don't have a football season, that's going to be tough. But again, thanks everyone for joining us tonight. We're going to move on to topic 3 here, Scotty. And this will be kind of a fun one. I think everyone will kind of enjoy this. Let us know your thoughts. But we're going to go over, maybe we'll just say, Scotty, your top 3 most hated NFL team logos. Scotty, you're up. I say top 5, but we probably have a lot of the same. So we're going to go top 3. Let us know your guys' as well. Scotty, who do you got for your let's go
First,
let's go third least, and then we'll go back and forth. How about that?
oh God, third least.
Or didn't you probably didn't put them in order, did you?
No, but I can do this. So third least, as far as so we're talking 2020 logos, right?
Yes.
Okay, there's a very important distinction there. So I'll go third least, Raiders, just because I hate the Raiders. I hate their logo. I hate everything about the Raiders. But they're third, even though they're probably my least favorite team. I'll go with the Raiders third. I hate the pirate. I hate how their fans dress up like those stupid pirates, because it transcends their logo, right? And so I just see that logo and I seethe.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. That's impressive. See, mine is so I'm gonna go number 3 is the Pittsburgh Steelers. I've never enjoyed just the colors have always been they look too much like Iowa, right? Too much like the Iowa Hawkeyes, or vice versa. I don't know who's first. I think Iowa might have been first.
I was probably first.
What's that?
Iowa had to have been
Yeah,
first. I'm
yeah.
sure
Being a
Iowa was
university,
fourth.
yeah. I think pardon me. I think Pittsburgh would be third on my list. I can't stand the colors, and I can't stand how, because you think Pittsburgh, you think the Steelers, right? You think strong, you think blue collar, you think Rust Belt, you think a tough city, and then they have like kind of a yellow and black, which black is okay, but then you have this weird little white symbol that's filled in with Steelers with those 3-colored diamonds, right? That are kind of in there.
It's a symbol for U.S. Steel from way back when. It's like a corporate
Oh
symbol.
yeah, okay. Well, regardless, I don't like the looks of it. That would definitely be my third least favorite. We'll say.
Nice.
What do you got? What do you got for second least favorite?
Number 2, and it's going to be new one on the list. The new L.A. Rams logo is the second dumbest
Oh,
thing
you
I've
don't
ever
like
seen.
it? Oh, I think it's
No,
great, man.
I think the original Rams with the horn and everything. Now you have this little LA swoosh thing. Oh, I don't like it at all.
Wow, I'm shocked. I am shocked. That's a tough one.
Can't beat the Rams horns. The Ram horns are awesome.
Okay, but I mean, well, it's kind of more like the wing. It's almost like the Michigan wing tee, right? Or the winged helmets. Darcy Beach is.
No, well, I mean the old one maybe, but no, I think that the new one is. They got some marketing agency that that had a bunch of people in a room and they tested it and said, "Oh yeah, this is fine." No, I think it's
Well,
awful.
I like the colors anyway. I like the colors, which is shocking.
Yeah.
Let's see. Darcy Veach says real men wear black. I think commenting on your Raiders, on your Raiders one there. My second has to be, and I'm gonna probably take a lot of flack for this, but it's got to be the Chicago Bears. I can't stand those colors. I can't stand the blue, the orange, and it's so. I don't know why, but it's just one of those. It's been there. It's been there forever, so it's very traditional. I'm normally pretty traditional, but I can't stand the fact how there's just a little C orange, just right on their helmet, and just that blue and orange is just not my style. I don't like the clash. I don't like how. I don't like this either. How they wear the white pants with the white socks and whatnot. I just think that looks cheesy. I know Sparty always tries to do this. Sorry, I got to put my jab in there, JC. Sparty always used to wear like the green helmets with the white uni, the white pants, and then the white socks with the white cleats. It looks absolutely stupid and ridiculous. I can't say any time. It's been one of my rival annoyances right on the M Factor before. Oh, it's unbelievable. Hold on, folks. I see a lot of your guys' comments, but let us finish our list real quick and we'll get to yours. Scotty, who's your number one for least favorite NFL logo?
Jarwell, my least favorite that I just think is stupid beyond belief is the Cincinnati Bengals. Just a B with some stripes in it.
Really, the Bengals? That's crazy.
Bengals.
See, I love
Oh,
the
it's just
Bengals.
the colors are bad. It's a B with some stripes in it. It's not even the color of a Bengal tiger. It's just orange, burnt orange color.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I
Well,
just think it's dumb.
well, I am happy with that, Scotty, because my number one is the Cleveland Browns. Very similar. One, I can't stand Ohio, so I'm glad that you picked Cincinnati. I got Cleveland. Two, they don't even have a logo for crying out loud. Oh my God, there's not even a logo. There's no logo. It's like, I mean, you could say what, a bulldog or like a dog.
No, no, no. I looked this up today, right? So I was looking at this just because I wanted to look up LA's new logo because I've heard so much negative press about it or how it was different. Well, I looked up the Browns logo, and the best I can find is they never had a helmet logo, except for maybe in the early '60s they had this weird brown elf guy. It was kind of like it was kind of like the Fighting Irish, but an elf. It was awkward, and so. But I agree with you. I wanted to pick that, but they don't have a logo.
Exactly.
It's brown.
So yeah, it's a brown helmet, and their uniforms are just terrible. Everything in Ohio
Oh,
sucks except for Cedar Point. So we got some good ones from some of our viewers here. Joey Hine, good to see you, Joey. Joey says, let's see. Joey says Browns, Dolphins, Vikings. Browns. You have to simply. What order are you guys going here? You guys going least favorite to? So Browns, Dolphins, Vikings. I like the Dolphins. I always like the Dolphins. I like the Vikings. So
Vikings
I
cool.
might have to disagree with you on those ones, Joey, but you do got the Browns in there. Steve Fox says, oh no. Oh no. Steve Fox says Panthers, Broncos, Seahawks. I do like the old I'd much rather have them have the old Broncos symbol,
Yeah,
with
same.
the old D with the Bronco going through it. That was way cool.
Yeah, me too.
But boy, we got a lot of haters on. So Steve is a big fan of the Vikings. Joey hates the Vikings. Scotty, obviously, a big Broncos fan. Steve doesn't like the Broncos. Zach French says Browns, Steelers, and I don't know. Okay, so he's kind of on board with same as what I got. Let's see what else we got here.
I can't believe the LA's new logo isn't getting more shit.
Well,
Of course,
maybe a lot of people don't know, right? JC says Texans, Buccaneers, and the new Rams. There you go. There's a new Rams from JC. I gotta disagree with the Buccaneers though. That's my favorite logo, especially the newer ones. The old one, JC, absolutely. The old. Yeah, Buccaneers. Oh, but I love that red color, that darker red color of the with the gray, with like the scarlet gray. Oh, I think that's fantastic.
their color rush uniforms are pretty sweet. I think.
Yeah, yeah. So JC, the Texans. Yeah, I'm kind of neutral on the Texans. And then the Rams. Darcy Veach says baby poop helmets. That's probably I assume that's for Cleveland. Steve Fox says yeah, Browns are up there. Zach French, Browns, but have an orange helmet. Steve Fox says I like the old Broncos, so he's with you on the old Broncos. But yeah, I don't care much for the new Broncos. They're not as pizzazzy as they used to be.
No,
So uh,
it's not my favorite. The old Broncos is the best. When they do their throwbacks, I love that. But
Yeah, Steve
Yeah,
Fox.
I'm in the same boat.
He also says the first Bronco unis from the early '60s were the worst ever.
Oh, they had vertical striped socks, they had brown, that brown, that oh, they're awful.
Boy,
They're terrible.
I got to say this though, Steve. There were a lot of terrible uniforms back in the day. Oh my God, Green Bay, Pittsburgh. Oh geez, oh Pete. You know whose I did like though back in the day were the Lions with the solid silver helmet, and they used to wear the silver pants with the solid blue socks. So they look cool. They look
Yeah.
like a high school team basically. Let's see, Tony Halsey. Hey, good to see you, Tony. Browns, Green Bay, Chicago. So we got a Green Bay hater up in there. But it seems like Browns are pretty common. And other than that, we're kind of all over the place. But I know you agree with the Browns
So
too. You just didn't put them in the list. So
there's certainly no emotion involved in this either.
yeah, exactly. If I don't care much for the Lions colors or the Honolulu blue and the silver, don't care much for that, but it's a classic Lions symbol. Let's see. Steve
You
Fox says they were brown, yellow with vertical striped socks. Yeah, just like you said,
Yeah.
Scotty. Okay, but yeah, that's a fun
You know
one.
what I think of though
What's that, Scotty?
when I think of Lions, I think of Barry Sanders with those with the uniforms, the
Oh
solid
yeah,
silver and the
yeah,
blue and all
yeah. It's
that.
a good icon
I
to
think that's one of the
remember.
best uniforms. So
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's a good icon to remember. So, all right, everyone. Well, we're gonna move on to topic number 4. That was fun. This one will be a fun one too, because it'll be a little different nowadays. I'm sure, because the question is, Scotty, and I'm gonna post it right now. Is what's your favorite rivalry in sports right now, currently? Because there's a lot of tough ones. There's a lot of historic rivalries. We can't really say Michigan, Ohio State. I do love the game, but you can't really say that because it's not a very good rivalry right now. It's tough to say like even Alabama. It's tough in any college football game to really say because Alabama, Clemson just kind of running the tables right now in the past decade anyway. Let's see, professional sports. We got, you can't really say Yankees, Red Sox anymore. So current day, what's your favorite rivalry in sports, Scotty?
well, and so as far as current, so I got to go to basketball, and it's current, it's past, it'll be future, and that's Duke, North Carolina.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of what was on. That was what was on my chart too.
Yeah,
I,
I
I'm
mean that one's always going to be
I'm a
there.
big fan of Michigan State basketball right now for sure. I think
Yeah,
that's a real fun one. It's kind of been going back. Last year they got us. Year before that we got them. We got them. We split this year. Really would have liked to see the Big Ten tournament to see how each squad was playing. I know JC would have liked that as well. But yeah, definitely Duke, UNC hoops, probably the biggest one right now. I'm trying to think in the NFL. I really enjoyed the past couple years of Kansas City and Kansas City, New England. That was kind
yeah.
of a fun one. I don't know how it's going to be now, but Kansas City, New England, and so for the NFL, that was kind of the only one really. I do think that Pittsburgh Cleveland one is going to be fired up big time after the bashing of the head of what was
Oh
Pittsburgh's
yeah,
quarterback? I can't remember now.
I'm drawing a blank on both those players, and I was thinking of that earlier
Yeah,
today
that I
too.
mean that could be a good one. Let's see, what do we got? Darcy Veach says me and my husband favorite rivalry in sports. Oh, that's solid,
Nah,
Darcy.
he beats her every
Yeah.
time.
Oh man, that's tough. JC says MSU U of M B-ball. Yep, exactly. Joey Hine Army Navy football. Oh, that's pretty good. I like
Oh, that's
that.
a good one.
I like that. That's
I really
always a
like that one.
classic, right? JC says hated to see Beeline leave. Yeah, but I'm excited for Juwan. So Steve Fox agree
And
with U of M MSU. Zach French, of course, he's a Cowboy fan, so he says Cowboy Eagles for him. But that's actually a good one. It's just kind of out of our market, so that's probably why we didn't mention it. But yeah, I know those guys. I mean, Zach, you're gonna have to let us know. I believe the final game of the regular season last year was for the playoff berth, right, between Philly and Dallas. Let us know on that one. I think Philly obviously pulled it out because obviously Carson Wentz started his first like playoff game, right? And then he went down injured, so of
I
course.
figure.
But those are some real.
My big one in the NFL is definitely Broncos Raiders. I don't care how good they are, how bad they are. It's always Raiders week, and you do it twice a year, and it's always So when you listen to like Denver sports talk radio, everyone chirps. Denver had a big advantage for a couple of years. Now Raiders have had a couple good games. Everyone in Denver hates the Raiders. Everyone for the Raiders hates Denver. I'm curious to see how it's going to go now with the Raiders going to Vegas, because I don't see Vegas as being that big of a, like, that dedicated of a fan base. And so I'm worried that rivalry may die, but it's a really really fun rivalry, and it's been that rivalry since the mid '70s.
Yeah, again, kind of out of our market, especially living in or growing up in Michigan, really didn't get to see a lot of those games, and you didn't get to feel like the feeling of the
Yeah,
rivalry
you get the
itself.
emotion.
What's that?
The emotion. Rivalries are all about emotion.
Yeah, yeah, exactly right. So, um, I do like this one. Steve Fox says one that could evolve is the 49ers and the Seahawks. That's gonna be a good one for a while, as long as both Russell Wilson stays healthy and the 49ers can obviously keep that defense. Steve Fox says, for me, it's the Packers Vikings. Again, Steve's a huge Vikings fan. Zach French, Vegas has been really big for hockey. Hope is the same following for football. That's a good point. I do hope it works out in Vegas. Vegas is a
Oh yeah.
huge growing market for sports. And, the NHL team did phenomenal there. Heck, they went to the Stanley Cup their first year, didn't they? I
Yeah.
thought so, yeah. So now you bringing basketball or bringing football there. Pardon me, bringing football back there is. I think that's going to be great. And I do, I just can't. I don't really care much for the Raiders. So the only time I liked the Raiders was when they had Seawood, when they had Uncle Chuck there on the Raiders. Other than that, it sucks too, Scotty, because I actually do like their uniforms, silver and black with the Raiders. But again, I don't have the feeling of the rivalry that you do. But when it comes to NBA, I don't follow the NBA that much, but I do like the emerging rivalry between the Lakers and the Clippers. The problem is the fluidity of players moving all the time. So it really affects, you can't build a solid 5-year rivalry because you got players staying at one spot for 2 years. You got star players staying in one spot for 2 years and then just moving away. So you can't build that rivalry, right?
Right, and I think that's why college rivalries are kind of better, because especially in football, you tend to get players for a little bit longer. You have the natural rivalries and in the conference and everything,
Yeah.
but the players tend to stand. I mean, the players don't move around that much, and so they've kind of both work together. Um, so I don't know. I think that those rivalries are going to transcend and just be timeless like they've always
Yeah,
been.
yeah, and it's tough. Like I said, it's tough nowadays. You're absolutely right. Now or back in the day, players were, I don't want to say loyal because that's not the right word, but players, just wasn't as common for players to move around as much as they did. Let's see, what do we got? Scott Slack says, Scotty, good to see you, man. Lions versus referees. Yep, that's the best one. That's the best one. That's the best one so far. Steve Fox says, correct AC. I remember Miami, Florida State was huge. Oh, God.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that was a big one.
Oh, yeah. And it was a little before what is it, convicts versus Catholics or whatever, back in the day. That was that was Notre Dame, Miami, right? But, well, heck, Florida used to be big when I was growing up. Let's see. Zach French says college sports have a culture that fuels the rivalries. That's correct. And that's the only problem right now is you got a lot of tier 2 rivalries going on because the SEC is pretty much dominating, right? You got Auburn,
Yeah.
or you got Alabama, you got Clemson, who's ACC, I know. But
Georgia.
what's that?
If Georgia.
You got Georgia, you got Florida, you got LSU, obviously, you just won it. You got Auburn, you got all these schools, and really the Big Ten, you got Ohio State. I'm a realist. I can say that you got Ohio State. The Big 12, you got nothing, and the Pac-12 is just really dying off, simply because they don't get a lot of the TV,
Okay.
East Coast nowadays. So, Scotty, you still there, buddy?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, no one east of the Mississippi watches the Pac-12
Yeah,
unless it's like
exactly.
Stanford, Notre Dame.
So the Pac-12 was probably like, oh heck yeah, we'll come back and play, simply because they were probably they're probably all about the the TV rights. If they came back, then guess what? They're going to be all over the place. So let's see, Zach French. Or pardon me, Darcy, transfer portal college. Love him today, hate transfer portal college. Love him today, hate home tomorrow. Hate him tomorrow. Megan Lowe. Hey Megan, miss you guys. Love to see this. Nice. Thanks, Megan. Good to see you too. So yeah, in terms of like current rivalries, let's just sum it up real quick. Current rivalries. I think the major ones for us anyway, Michigan State basketball. I think that rivalry is pretty much done in football. I think Michigan's going to start running away with it. And then Steve Fox says, I kind of wonder if the college football playoff has diminished many rivalries. Oh, it's tough to say, Steve. The only reason I wouldn't put it all on the playoff system, simply because, again, I think it's just been Alabama just dominating the last decade. If we're looking back at even like kind of BCS time, it was still Alabama. I just think that kids are really wanting to go. One, Saban's a heck of a coach down there. He just fits really well. And two, I just think the kids really want to go down to the SEC. It's warm. Cost of living is much, much cheaper than it would be going to like USC, UCLA, obviously, going to a Pac-12 school. So it's really tough to say. I don't really think, I don't really think that the playoff system really hurt it. I just think that, I mean, I assume you're talking about TV rights too, because TV rights, if you go to the SEC, you're almost guaranteed two teams in the playoffs almost. At least maybe, or at least one from the ACC, one from the SEC, right? Normally, simply because that's just the way it goes, and it is, and it's the right call. So, so thanks everyone for joining in. We're gonna move to the next topic, and that is some classic B&O. Scotty, I wasn't sure if you were able to think of any today, or.
I noodled on a couple.
All right, right on. It's really easy because you just kind of look around and be like either or. So it's pretty fun. But for those of you who don't know, this game basically you got two choices. You only get one chance to pick both of them. So we kind of modified it a little bit, but you got to pick either or. And let's move on to the first one, Scotty, and that is I was kind of torn on this one. I'm not sure which one. I think I know which one you're gonna pick, but I'm not sure. Let's go with bow hunt or gun hunt.
Oh, guns, way easier. No, I like guns.
I figured so, but I wasn't sure because I know like bow hunting is the thrill of the hunt, right? Is just it's a little more challenging.
I got a bad shoulder.
Oh, there you go. Okay, so that's no dice. I would probably pick gun hunt as well, but I'm not much of a hunter. Not a hunter at all, really. But I was just curious on what you think. All right, what do you got, Scotty?
A lower than average Michigan team that throttles Ohio State, or a better than average Michigan team that loses twice to Sparty, once in regular season and once in the Big Ten.
Are we talking basketball?
No,
football. To lose it or loses to Sparty?
Twice.
A mediocre team that beats Ohio State?
Yeah.
Oh, I got to go.
Or
present time, I have to go with.
A team that loses twice, once in regular season and maybe once in the Big Ten championship.
Well, that wouldn't happen with the.
Oh, that's right.
With the current layout.
Hypothetically.
Yeah, hypothetically, I would go with Ohio. I would go right now with Ohio State again. In my opinion, that would be kind of there'd be a fluke. Just the longevity of how long they've dominated us is what is really upsetting. Michigan State, if we were to beat Ohio State, I'd be like, okay, cool, and with a mediocre team too. And possibly ruin their chances at making the playoffs. That's the best, right? That's what we did to them in the 90s back when they had Cooper. Basically, Michigan would have, a three-loss team going into that final game. Ohio State would be ranked 1 or 2, and we totally spoil their chances of at that time there was no playoff, but of winning a national championship and or going to the Rose Bowl. So I would definitely take that. And losing to Sparty, hypothetically twice, that would be a fluke. That would be one season. I wouldn't see that carrying over to the next season. I could then I could handle all the stupid Sparties talking crap
right?
for 1 year. We had to endure it for a couple years straight. When in our down years. So let's see. We got some comments on that one. Steve Fox says can't stand losing to MSU. Zach French, I don't want to hear MSU fans twice in 1 year. Too many Spartan fans at work to deal with afterwards. Steve Fox, Darcy Veach must defeat Columbus. That's that's why I say Ohio State really beating Ohio State because that year if we're mediocre like the question states, Scotty, if we're mediocre and we beat Ohio State, that would be so bittersweet. Now if we were really good and we lost to Michigan State twice, then that would be heartbreaking, right? But for us to be really good, I mean, if we were really good, then obviously we would still make the Big Ten championship. And I don't know, it's a tough hypothetical.
Well, and I guess the thing I didn't think of when I was asking this question is an Ohio State team to lose to a mediocre Michigan team would be even better because it's like you should have beat us and we came in there. And we were probably underdogs and beat you, and so that would have been
it's exactly right. And like I said, that's what it used to be in the '90s. I know Steve remembers all those. I'm sure Veach does as well, obviously. But those were the good old days. But all right, yeah, the great one. What would you do now, Scotty? Being a solid Michigan fan nowadays.
Oh, I take the Ohio State.
Okay,
no problem.
Okay, yeah.
Just I don't know. I think it's happened once since we moved here in 2010.
It's tough. Yeah,
right?
It's a tough question because, you want Sparty fans still thinking that they're relevant, and you don't want to give them that little nibble. So yeah, it's a tough one.
Hey, blind squirrel finds a nut.
Yeah, that's right. That's absolutely right. All right, here we go, Scotty. And this is kind of a good one. Would you rather have a catch with the old baseball or toss the football around?
Well, we know what happened last time.
Yeah, that was not in my mind at the time, but
oh man, I like tossing a baseball.
I do too.
There's something about the well, first of all, I can't throw a football very well. I love throwing a football, but I can't wing it. I love throwing a baseball. It's the whack of the baseball on the glove. It's just being able to just wing a baseball. I love throwing baseball around. How about you?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go with the baseball as well. Steve Fox says baseball. Veach says the pig skid. So we got some alternating answers there. But yeah, I'm and there's cool things you could throwing the knuckleball, throwing a curveball, throwing that junk, throwing your arm out. Obviously you can throw your arm out big time with the football.
And get hit in the face too.
Yeah, you got to watch out for that, Scotty. Someone's gonna rifle it at you, and if you've had a few cocktails and haven't played catch a while, we know how that goes, right? Glad to see. Can you get a scar or anything from that?
You can't see it's in my
Okay, right on. Perfect hiding spot.
So I got an interesting piece of history about throwing a baseball around.
All right, well, go for it.
So in World War II, they designed grenades to be the size basically of a baseball because every American that fought in World War II could basically throw a baseball, which means you could throw a grenade.
Oh, that's interesting. That's a pretty cool. There's a side note, folks, if you didn't know, that's solid. All right, Scotty, what do you got next, buddy? We got about 2 minutes left, so.
All right. Would you rather eat a whole tomato or a salmon steak?
God dang. Oh, I got to go with salmon steak.
Wow, you have changed.
Yeah, I got to. The only reason I say that is because it's actually, fish isn't meat in my eyes. In the words of Ron, in the words of Ron Swanson, our hero, Scotty, fish is for sport only. And fish is like eating vegetables. Yeah,
but you don't like those either.
But still, I'm gonna go with just a raw tomato, a whole one. Oh no, that's because you got the juices.
I thought that was gonna be a much more difficult choice.
Well, when you mentioned eating a whole raw tomato, I was like, oh God. I wasn't sure where you were going with that one because I was like, oh man, he's gonna pick something. Well, to be honest with you, Scotty, though, it would have to be like a really strong sushi for me to really hate the fish. I've mentioned this before. It's not so much that I really dislike really dislike seafood, but there's just so much. I mean, you guys know I've had I eat rolls, sushi rolls, and obviously it's not the best, but the thing is. When there's so many, oh yeah, good. JC, I forgot I had my neither patch on that. So JC says surprised it wasn't neither on that one. So I just Steve Fox says salmon steak. Zach French has got one for Scotty. Oh, we'll ask you this one next, Scotty.
All right.
That's pretty good. But actually, Zach, I think I know what he's gonna go with because he's not really a fan of the other one, but. Veach says the salmon. Zach French looks like he's got both in the stream. Yeah, I don't know which. Obviously, you would go with the salmon too, right? I mean,
Yeah, because I like both, but yeah, I take salmon.
Yeah, right on. So Zach French for our last one, we're gonna go with this, and but I'm pretty sure I already know the answer. I'm not sure if this is gonna be tough for you, Scotty. He's got Natty Light or Truly.
Oh, Natty Light.
Yeah, I think so. Fred, sorry, man. That
Truly's were close. I had to grab one because it was in close proximity.
Oh. That might be where he got it.
And she was able to get me a natty out of the fridge.
Okay, well, good stuff, guys. Good stuff, though. Thanks everyone for tuning in tonight. Again, if you guys are still watching, don't forget to head on over to the merch store for the M Factor store. I know a lot of you Sparty fans won't care much for a lot of these, but there's some good stuff going on there. Head on over. T-shirts are $20. Like I said, I'm wearing one tonight. The old M Factor one, really nice quality. They got some coffee mugs. There will be some more things on there. And also, if you get the chance, head on over to the M Factor on YouTube. Hit subscribe on that one because if you missed it, go ahead and tune in. I post these. Like I said, I post these on Tuesday. Much better quality. We can only do 720p live here on Facebook, but 1080p. We're almost getting up to 4K once YouTube platform allows 4K. That would be nice, but yeah, much better quality. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Really appreciate it. Scotty, any last words tonight, buddy?
Is that officially licensed U of M merchandise?
It is. Okay, so here's the best part about that, Scotty, because I am very much aware of all that. I know. Because geez, I can't, there's certain clips, there's music I can't play, there's videos I can't play, there's so many things that I could, that it gets the video taken down. Right. And, so what I did was no one's really going to see it, but I designed this Michigan M myself. So there is a slight alteration to it, but it's very difficult to notice. So all of my M symbols, even up in the corner over there, on the M Factor, that M is actually altered a little bit, so it does take away from the copyright laws or trademark laws. But great question. I'm glad you brought that up. Just to let everyone know. But yeah. So again, thanks everyone for joining in tonight. We had a good crowd. Great comments again. JC says, "Are you getting paid for your likeness?" No, but the M Factor does make money off those shirts and merchandise. So. It's really nice. Like I said, give one of them a try. And if you guys have anything you want to put on the shirts that in regards to the A to G show, A Train Radio, or the M Factor podcast, just let me know. We'll try to put something on there. I do have some cool ones with a little bubble that has me saying there's some good stuff on there. So I'm gonna continue to update that store. You got multiple colors on the shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies. So just head on over there. Check it out, guys. Would really appreciate it. Again, if you missed it, they got I'll post the web address with the video. So again, thanks everyone, appreciate it. But thanks again everyone for tuning in tonight. That is it for the A to G show 2.0. Scotty, thanks for joining tonight. Viewers, everyone, thanks for joining tonight. Thanks for the comments. Have a great week, everyone. We will see you next Tuesday.